Hello guys, I hope you all are doing good. I am Vaishali Kikan and we are discussing antenna and wave propagation. In that we are discussing wave propagation. We are going to start a very important part, that is sky wave propagation. In that, first of all, we are discussing atmosphere, because to understand the sky wave propagation, atmosphere is a very crucial part and we need to understand atmosphere with utmost attention. So I hope you all are watching this video very carefully and I hope you will be staying with me till the end of this video and you will be getting a lot of new information. So starting with the atmosphere, we have various parts of the atmosphere. How we classify the atmosphere? Because some parts are exhibiting some different characteristics. So if this is my earth, this is the part which is representing the earth. Now above the earth up to 15 kilometer I have the troposphere. Okay, and after that we have 15 to 50 kilometer range, we have the stratosphere. So stratosphere is there in this range. Now coming to the ionosphere, the ionosphere is there after 50 kilometer up to 400 kilometers. So a big part of atmosphere is there in the ionosphere. Now ionosphere is further divided into three parts, that is D layer, E layer and F layer. And F layer is further divided into F1 layer and F2 layer. So now coming to the D layer. D layer is there present in between 50 to 90 kilometer. After 90 kilometer up to 140 kilometer we have the E layer. Coming to the F layer. F layer is present in between 140 to 400 kilometer, in which F1 layer is present in between 140 to 250 kilometer, and after 250 kilometer up to 400 kilometer we have F2 layer. Okay, so now after that we have the outer atmosphere, which is also called the G layer. The Earth's gravitational field is only exhibiting its impact only up to the F layer, or in F layer up to F2 layer only. The G layer or the outer atmosphere layer has no impact of the Earth's gravitational field. Okay, so now coming to the classification. As I have told you, the atmosphere is classified into troposphere, stratosphere, ionosphere and the outer atmosphere, in which ionosphere is further classified into D layer, E layer, F1 layer and the F2 layer. Okay, now coming to the troposphere first. First of all, we are coming to the basic part, that is troposphere. Troposphere is present from 0 to 15 kilometer of range. So we are living in the troposphere. All of the environment is present in the troposphere. All of the humans, animals, plants, all of them are there in the troposphere itself. So the basic property of the troposphere is that the temperature will be decreasing as we are going up in the height. So what happens? So when I am increasing the height, this is my height, the temperature will be decreasing. Okay, so now the second property is that the percentage of the component of the gas will remain constant. For example, if I have some percentage, let's suppose 22% of oxygen at height of 2 kilometer, then the 22% oxygen will be there at the height 4 kilometer, at the height 7 kilometer as well, at the height 11 kilometer as well. So the percentage of component will remain constant. Okay, so it's not only true for oxygen, it is true for all of the components. Okay, so now coming to the water vapor. The component water vapors, the water vapors concentration will decrease as I go up in the atmosphere. And let me tell you that water vapor is a very important part which is absorbing the light energy from the sun. Also it is absorbing the heat energy from the sun. So if the water vapor is present in more quantity near the Earth's surface, so in that case I can say near the Earth's surface I will be having more heat energy or more temperature. As I move up, water vapor's concentration will be less, which means it is absorbing lesser heat, which means here the temperature will be lesser than the temperature at the surface of the Earth due to larger number of water vapors. Okay, now coming to the gradient with respect to refractive index, it is a fixed quantity which is -4 into 10 raised to power -2 per meter. Gradient with respect to refractive index, which means the refractive index per unit height. So what is my refractive index? I can represent it with mu, or here I have represented it with n. So the change in mu with respect to height, it is not changing with a different rate, so it is having a constant -4 into 10 raised to power -2 meter inverse. So refractive index is decreasing with height. Okay, so I hope now you understood this. Coming to the ionosphere, we are skipping the stratosphere because for skywave propagation we need not to understand stratosphere in detail. We are coming to the ionosphere, which is a very important part for the skywave propagation. So what is ionosphere? The ionosphere is present from 50 to 400 kilometer. Okay, so in this range my ionosphere will be present. So ionosphere, as I have told you, it is divided into many parts and we are going to talk about all of them in detail. But in first we have to understand what is the basic property of ionosphere. Why I am calling all of them as ionosphere? We should understand what is ionosphere first of all. As the name suggests, ionosphere is a sphere which is containing the ions. Okay, so why it is containing the ions? Which ions it is containing? Why the ions are generated at all? So first of all, it is the upper part of the atmosphere where ionization is appreciable, which means we are having the ionization a lot in that part of the atmosphere. Okay, so if ionization is appreciable, which means I have a lot of ions. So ions are generated with the release of electrons. So let's suppose we have oxygen. So oxygen atom will be getting some energy. It will be dissociating into ion and with the release of an electron. So if the ions are there, which means the electrons would also be there. So this process of converting oxygen into its ion as well as an electron is the process of ionization. So it is happening inside the ionosphere, and this is the reason it is called the ionosphere. So how it is happening? The sun is giving some radiations. So the radiation energy will be consisting of a lot of types of radiations like UV rays, alpha rays, beta rays, cosmic rays. So these rays are getting absorbed by the molecules and which will be making them ionized. Okay, so absorption of radiant energy from sun will produce the ionization. It consists of several layers, as I have already told you, DE, F1 and F2 layer. So in the daytime, because I have sufficient energy of sun's radiation, so I will be having all of the layers intact, D layer, E layer, F1 as well as F2 layer. So during the daytime I will be having DE, F1 and F2 peaks. Okay, so here I am representing electron density on the x-axis. On the y-axis I have height. Okay, as I have told you, D layer is at 50 to 90 kilometer. Okay, so the most downward layer is the D layer. Okay, so the maxima of electron density would be here at the D layer. Similarly, I will be having a further maxima which is E layer, a further maxima which is F1 layer, a further maxima which is F2 layer during the daytime. But during the night time, because the D layer is generated just because of photo rays. Okay, so photo radiations will be causing the generation of D layer. Photo radiations will be making the ionization in the D layer, and in the night light photo radiations are not there, so D layer is vanishing at the night time. Further, the F1 layer and F2 layer will be combining at the night time to form the F layer. Okay, so at the night time we will be having two maxima, E layer and the F layer only. Okay, so during night F1 and F2 combine to form F layer and D layer will vanish. So now coming to the F layer. F layer is also called Appleton-Barnett layer, and E layer is also called Kennelly-Heaviside layer. So you can remember these names for your examination. The direct question can come from here, and I hope you will be remembering these names. Now coming to the properties of the D layer. So D layer, as I have told you, it is present in the range of 15 to 90 kilometer. Okay, so it is present only during the daytime because it is generated due to the photoionization. Okay, so in the photoionization I require visible light for the ionization, but during the night time I don't have any visible light, and due to that I won't be having the D layer. Okay, so it is present only during the daytime, because at night the recombination rate would be greater than the ionization rate. So all of us know now what is ionization. So I gave you the example of oxygen atom. Oxygen atom can dissociate into oxygen ion and the electron, and this process is the ionization process, and the reverse can also happen. Okay, so this process, when oxygen is dissociating into oxygen ion and electron, this process will be requiring some energy. But in the reverse manner, if we don't have sufficient energy to ionize the atom, so in that case the recombination may happen. So in the reverse direction, the ionized oxygen atom, oxygen ion and the electron can combine and they can form the oxygen atom. So what happens? This is called the recombination. So oxygen ion plus electron can combine to form the oxygen atom is the recombination. The rate of recombination would be higher than the ionization rate at the night time. So I can say there is no ions that is left during the night time, which means there is no D layer, because it is in the ionosphere. The formation of ions and the sustenance of the ions is a critical parameter which has to be there. If the ions are not there, I cannot say ionosphere is present, and I cannot say D layer is present. So D layer is vanishing at the night time. It is ionized by the photoionization of oxygen molecule. Okay, I have already given you the example. So electron density is maximum at the noon, because the maximum photo density is coming during the noon time. So the most of the ionization is happening during the noon time, and when the ionization is maximum, you can see during the ionization electron is also releasing. So electron density will also be maximum when the ionization is maximum. So I can say electron density is also maximum at the noon time. It reflects only very low frequency and the low frequency signal. High frequency communication is not possible with the D layer, okay, because there is no sufficient ions to reflect back the high frequency ions. Okay, so high frequency wave can penetrate through it, it will not get reflect. So high frequency communication is not possible through the D layer. Okay, the critical frequency is only up to 100 kilohertz. This is also a very important parameter which you can remember for your exams. Now coming to the E layer. E layer is present from 90 to 140 kilometer. Okay, so ionization is done by the X-ray radiation, and also weak ionization is done at the night time. So I can say it is present during the daytime as well as during the night time, because it requires X-rays for the ionization, which can also be there during the night time. So it is ionized at day as well as night time. The critical frequency is much higher, that is 3 megahertz to 5 megahertz. So it is more useful for long distance high frequency communication. So it will reflect the high frequency during the daytime, because the X-rays would be higher and much more in concentration than in the daytime than the night time. So reflection of high frequency require a large number of ions which are there more in number during the daytimes, because X-rays are there more during the daytime. So because more X-rays are there during the day, so in the day X-ray increases, which means ions increases, which means reflection increases, which means high frequency communication can be done during the daytime. It is more useful for long distance radio propagation during the daytime. Coming to the F layer. F layer is present from 140 to 400 kilometer. As I have told you, from 140 to 250 kilometer I have F1 layer. From 250 to 400 kilometer I have F2 layer. So it is remaining ionized during all of the times. So there is no time when I can say F layer is disappearing. It will never disappear. Okay, so the critical frequency is much higher. It is from 5 to 12 megahertz. After 12 megahertz, the ray would penetrate into the outer atmosphere, and we cannot have the reflection of this ray. Okay, so in that case I would be requiring the satellite communication, or I can do the line of sight communication in that case. So the atmospheric reflection is not possible after 12 megahertz. This thing you can remember. So maxima of electron density will be occurring at 220 kilometer. So it is present in the range of 140 to 400 kilometer, and the maximum electron density is present at the 220 kilometer, which is inside the F1 layer. Okay, now it will reflect the high frequency waves, and I can do the high frequency communication. Now coming to the G layer, the layer which is the outer layer or outer atmosphere layer is also called the G layer, which is present after the 400 kilometer. As I have already told you, we don't have much impact of the gravitation of Earth. The impact of gravitation of Earth is negligible in the G layer. Coming to the sporadic E region. Sporadic E region's presence is irregular. It is identified with the formation of clouds. Okay, so it occurs in the form of clouds, and the clouds can have the various range from 1 kilometer to several hundred kilometers is the range of formation of clouds. Okay, so it is observed at both day and the night times. As we all have seen, the clouds are there during the day as well as during the night time. So I can say sporadic E region or sporadic E layer will be occurring during the day as well as during the night time. So I hope you understood all of these things in detail. If you have still any doubt, you can put the doubt in the comment, and I will be trying to resolve your doubt as soon as possible. And this is the basic video for the understanding of the skywave propagation. I hope you will be meeting me soon in the next video, where we will be starting the concepts of the skywave propagation, which is the very important part of the wave propagation. So I hope you will be liking this video, you will be subscribing this channel, and you will be sharing it with your friends as well. Thank you so much.